aren't even thinking about that. And a special visit by Mark and Vance.
This is
Mark Jackson, and Mark, you know the talk. Everybody is saying Cleveland's going to come in here Sunday looking for revenge because of what you guys have done to them the last 2 years. Is there such a thing as going into a game with revenge on your mind?
Looking for revenge. Where is revenge? No, I don't think so. I don't know if you can look all the way back to last season and stir up those emotions that they had back then. If we played them a week later, maybe they could say that, but I doubt it. And once you start playing, someone swacks you in the head, you're back to reality, and you realize whoever executes today wins the game.
So revenge really doesn't enter into anything once you step onto the field?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, of course, Cleveland wants revenge, if they do, simply because the Broncos have kept them from going to the Super Bowl by winning the last 2 AFC championship games against Cleveland. And you have made some of your best career plays against these Browns, haven't you?
Splendid plays.
Splendid. That's a good word.
Yeah, I did have a good game. I wouldn't even call it a good game. Here it is at the end of the drive. John Elway spots me in the end zone for like a 6-yard touchdown, which sent it into Rich Carlos's
overtime field goal.
Yeah, exactly.
To win the AFC game 2 years ago and send you to the Super Bowl.
And Tom Jackson's happy.
And then last year, you made a big play again that kept the Broncos awake and didn't let the Browns quite catch up last year.
Another one of those textbook plays. They always scrambles out of the pocket, and he hit me there for it's like 3rd and 18, and I was just thinking about the first down, elude a couple would-be tacklers and get a couple great blocks, one by Steve Sewell there, and he comes chasing me down the field as I start to run out of gas.
Get the oxygen.
Right here.
You're getting
is he still chasing me? Oh, yes, he is.
You're getting tired just looking at it.
Touchdown! But I scored, and that was a big play.
That made the score 28-10 last year, and you guys went on to win 38-33. Let's talk about practice this week. John Elway's ankle and John Elway's strained thigh muscle. Is he okay?
I think he is, but I think he jammed his toe today, so... The spread may change.
You're kidding,
again.
Right? You're kidding.
No, I'm just kidding.
Let's hope so, because John has gone through enough this year. John Elway still suffering from a slightly sprained ankle that he suffered 3 years ago, and from a strained thigh muscle he got while weightlifting earlier this week. But he looked fine to me in practice this week. Is he on the target?
I think he practiced fine, yeah. I think we're starting to get the timing back. We have a pretty healed-up Three Amigos core, and John Elway's throwing great, and I think we're going to start rolling from here.
How did practice go this week, and does that really matter?
We had a good week of practice. Every week it's different. If we have a good week of practice, we play good. I don't think it really dictates exactly what happens in a game, but it does have some influence on the game.
All right. When we come back, we'll take a look back at last week. Kansas City last week, 17-11. It doesn't sound like much, but you guys, at least on offense, had your game together, right?
It's a check in the win column, and we played well both ways, I think.
Now, let's take a look at the AFC West standings.
Let's do it.
Where you find yourself tied for the top at 5-5, although you really aren't. You're actually in 3rd place because in a tiebreaker situation, the 2 teams ahead of you, the Raiders and Seattle, have a better record against their opponents in the AFC. So really, you guys have to win that division.
This is true. We have to be up 1 game at least. And right now, being tied, we don't really decide our own destiny, but we do kind.
You want to look at last week's game?
Let's do it.
Let's do some highlights before we talk about the Cleveland Browns. Kansas City got on the board first by tackling Tony Dorsett in the end zone for safety.
Our first possession, Dorsett on a pitch play, and Hackett, I believe, got through and sacked him for a loss there, and 2 points for Kansas City.
Your buddy Vance Johnson, a very nice touchdown catch here.
3rd and goal catch from 6 yards out. Vance Johnson scores early in the 2nd quarter.
Matter of fact, the Amigos were everywhere.
Another Vance Johnson fan.
Ricky Nattil will catch this one, then fumble it, and you'll recover.
Yeah, Ricky caught this up for a 33-yard gain, just a little shoot route, and he runs away from the entire Kansas City defense, except for that one guy that's coming up behind you. Watch it, Ricky. Oh, no, he fumbled the ball. And, of course, what Amigos for? I recovered the ball here, which was a something we've been practicing all week, hustling and trying to recover the fumble ball.
If only you could warn him like that during the game, huh?
Yeah, I was like, watch out, Rick.
The defense had a great game, too. Held Kansas City to 11 points. They've been doing it week in and week out, except for the Pittsburgh and Indianapolis game.
Yeah, well, they played well last week, and that was important.
Let's take a look at the defensive plays from that Kansas City game. Mike Harden, big interception, kept the Chiefs out of the end zone.
Big interception by Mike Harden. The first time they were threatening us, they were down in the 6-yard. I think they got inside our 20 like 4 times and only came away with 6 points. So that's a great tribute to our defense.
You got the turnovers last week, too. Randy Robbins is going to pounce all over this fumble.
Here on a maximum all-out blitz, you can see Randy at the bottom of the screen. He's blitzing on that play in the hustle square, and he's going to come back and recover this fumble, which is an excellent job of hustling on his part. Jeremiah Castile makes the tackle, and I think Dennis Smith strips him on the play.
Randy Robbins all over the field. Another
Vance Johnson
Another
fan.
Vince Johnson fan. Simon Fletcher. I tell you what, if he didn't have that cast on his hand, he might be all-pro this year, huh?
He's still going to be all-pro. He's been having a great season. That's his second knockdown of the day.
He had 2 pass deflections last week, and he is playing as well as anybody on your defense right now, isn't he?
He is.
Coming into his own. All right, you and Vance and Ricky Nattiel made a special visit this week, didn't you?
Yeah, earlier this week, Vance, Ricky, and I had a chance to visit the home of J.D. Monteith. And J.D.'s a 10-year-old kid. He's suffering from MS, and we went by with a football and some smiles and a hat and thought we'd chat with J.D. for a while, and we had fun while we were there. And we made some promises. I don't know if we should make promises like this, but we said that we try to get at least 1/3 of the amigos would get in the end zone. And of course, Vance did early in the second quarter, and we also promised him that we put his initials on our shoes there.
And all 3 of you did that?
Yeah.
Well, J.D. wasn't the only one who was thrilled with your showing up. His mother thought it was wonderful of all 3 of you.
He's always liked the Broncos, and when he saw them on TV and the fact that they were coming, it just made him feel so happy. And he just knew that he was dying, and he felt so sad, and like nobody in the world could help him out. And now people are sharing that with him. And it makes it so much easier for him to handle. And Vance Johnson and the 3 amigos came over and just touched his heart and made him so much happier and felt like he was really important, that he can really be with these people that are so famous. They took a lot of that pain and gave him some joy and happiness that he hasn't had for quite a while.
No better feeling than making a child happy, would you agree?
Yeah, I think he was even more happy today with the shopping spree that he had at the toy store.
I heard about that. He made quite a haul there. All right, our weekly feature, the Sean Knight, Ted Gregory Watch. How are the Broncos coming out in that trade? Pretty well still. Sean Knight, 8 tackles. He didn't make any last week. Ted Gregory finally starting to suit up for New Orleans. However, he has not made a tackle. And when we get back, some interesting things from the Cleveland Browns.
Their offense is more or less a finesse offense, and their defense. And, you know, the Browns is a physical defense and offense all the way. So there's going to be a lot of punishment going on.
Are you ready to be punished?
Well, you know what I have to say to that. Sometimes you need a little finesse, and sometimes you need a lot.
Ooh, I like that. Sam Clancy was the one who said, we are a physical team, they are a finesse team. We're going to knock them on their keisters.
Of course.
You're shaking in your boots already, aren't you? Did you watch the Oilers-Browns game last Monday night? What did you think?
I think Bernie was in a track meet. He was getting so much pressure on him. Hopefully we can apply the same this Sunday.
Always running from Houston the other night. Here are a few highlights. Cleveland in 3rd place behind Cincinnati and Houston. However, 3 teams from this division could end up in the playoffs.
That's a tough division. I think probably the best division.
Cleveland Browns are coming in here, as we said, with a 6-4 record. Maybe revenge on their minds, maybe not. Are you guys ready? I mean, any complacency, I believe, and you're going to get bowled over.
I think we're ready mentally for sure. Physically, I think we're ready. We've got a few nicks and bruises, and guys are going to play to their potential, if not better, for this game because it's that type of a game, Cleveland-Denver game.
Well, Cleveland isn't thinking as much about you, I don't think, as they are about what happened last Monday night against Houston. Here's a look at the Browns.
Nobody around here can forget the drive that beat Cleveland 2 years ago in the AFC Championship game, and the lost fumble that helped Denver get to the Super Bowl again in last year's championship game. No, nobody around here can forget But the Cleveland Browns are doing a pretty good job of blocking out the memories. In fact, all they can think about is their loss last week to division rival Houston.
You know, I'm off. I'm angry at the way that we performed last week. Oilers played great game last week, and I'm off more than anything.
The Browns now feel their backs are against the wall. They're 6-4 in third place in their division. Making the playoffs is still a question mark.
We got to win a game. We have to win a game so we can try to get invited to the party. Whatever revenge there was, the Denver Broncos is not the same team that we played last year and the year before. So, you know, you can't. There's no grudges, no revenge, nothing like that. They need to win a game. We need to win a game.
There's a lot of things to consider. You know, you got the revenge, you got the loss last week, and then you got us trying to get into the playoffs, too. So, you know, we got a long road and a tough one, but I think we'll do it.
Few people doubt that. The Browns come into Mile High Stadium the favorite in this one. That's rare for any team playing against the Broncos here. But if there's any team that deserves to be favored, it is Cleveland. Despite their mediocre record, this team still is of Super Bowl caliber. They have quarterback Bernie Kosar back from injury on offense, but they've lost two key players for at least this game. Kosar's favorite receiver, Webster Slaughter, is out with a broken arm, and running back Kevin Mack is sidelined by a bad knee. On defense, well, this team is as stingy as ever. Still one of the best, strong at every position.
You know, this week I think you will see the real Cleveland Browns defense. You'll see a physical ball club. You'll see guys flying all around the balls trying to make big plays and everything like we have in the past.
They have two of the best cornerbacks in the business, Minifield and Hanford Dixon. Going to be covering you like a sheet. Are you doing anything special, you and Vance Johnson and Ricky Nattil, this week to combat that?
They're going to try to cover us like a sheet.
Right. They plan on it.
All pro cornerbacks, and they get all the accolades for that because they did do that last year. We're watching a film this week, and I never knew that it was such a physical game last year. Ricky and I and Hanford and Frank were just beating it up the whole game, and I think it's going to be the same way this year.
So maybe finesse can beat a physical team, huh?
Maybe.
Maybe. We'll find out on Sunday. And coming up next, we're going to take a look back at the last two Cleveland Bronco matchups. Sunday, okay?
I'll catch
you're
it.
a wide receiver. You should catch it. Chicago Bears at Washington. I just want to tell you one thing. Mike Ditka might be on the sidelines after that heart attack instead of in the press box. Does it matter?
Chicago, they're a better team.
You think?
Yes.
At RFK?
At RFK.
I disagree with you. Houston at Seattle.
Taking Houston.
Why?
They're on a roll, and Seattle isn't.
Houston looks like the best team in football the last couple of weeks. Raiders at San Francisco.
Take the 49ers.
Me too. Joe Montana's going to be starting this week. New Orleans at the Rams.
The Rams at home.
I like that too. But you always go for the Rams because Jim Everett graduated from the same place you did, Purdue.
They're doing pretty well this year.
Giants at Phoenix.
Going to go with the Phoenix Cardinals. They're on a roll.
I disagree with you. New York Giants are coming into their own.
$5 bet.
Okay, you got it. Can we do that? Pete Rozelle won't be real happy about that. Now, you guys have been very happy with the outcome in the last few Cleveland games. Tony Martinez is going to take a look back at those AFC Championship games and where they're going to stand in our memory.
In a new book, The Drive is relived as one of the NFL's top 40, one of the 40 best games in league history. Nearly 2 years later, the engineer of that 98.5-yard victory march puts it all into perspective.
No one thought we had a chance, and we were able to come back and make the drive and get it into overtime and end up going to the Super Bowl. So I think that for this team, it was a big turning point in what it's done for us the last previous 2 years, not so much this year.
This week, as Elway and his foot soldiers began preparation for Cleveland 3, it is last year's monumental battle that is most remembered. After taking an 18-point lead in the third quarter, the Broncos had to withstand 30 second half points by Bernie Kosar's team. When victory seemed all but lost, the hand of Jeremiah Castile saved Denver. He calls the fumble the greatest play of his career.
The consequence of the play, you know, it put us in the Super Bowl, so surely that had to be the biggest play of my career.
Especially when you felt like we were losing control of the game, which we were. And for Jeremiah to come up with that play at that time, you know, everybody just went crazy because it just, you know, we knew it was over at that point.
They had to score, and fortunately we had the defense to stop them, where the game before with the drive they didn't have the defense to stop us.
Ernest Biner is the man who literally had victory snatched from his grasp that day. You could feel his anger and disappointment in the locker room afterward.
What can I do now? I played my ass off. I played my heart out. I have left everything out on the field. What else can I do? What you want me to do? You want me to sit right here and cry and be a baby about it?
He's hurt. I mean, you know, he's really down right now. But he knows that, you know, he has the support of all his team.
And even though Castile will be a marked man Sunday, his teammates have some advice.
Don't worry, be happy.
Come Sunday, it is the Browns who must at least wonder, if not worry. Can lightning strike 3 times?
Is the catch 2 years ago the biggest play in your football career?
No, I think the biggest play to me was the Cincinnati game, my first touchdown catch.
All right. Well, in a lot of people's minds, the catch is the biggest for you. All right, when we come back, we're going to wrap things up. Mull over this trivia. '74, believe it or not, 23-21, 14 years ago. Well, have you ever heard of Bronco fans Squeaky, Butkus, and Ziggy?
Yes.
You have heard of them?
Yeah.
You've probably seen them walking into the stadium. They're some of the 8 dogs that get dressed up in Bronco attire before every home game. The people who work at Lakewood's Bowser Boutique spend several hours getting their pets ready. They don't actually go inside the stadium. They greet Bronco fans outside the south stands before the game. And these folks say the Broncos' mediocre season has not dampened their enthusiasm for the team. And you thought the Cleveland Browns were the only dogs you had to contend with this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tackle Kevin Brooks obtained from Dallas yesterday for a couple of draft picks. The 6'6", 284-pound Brooks meets the media today and works out for the coaches. And while his new teammates continue to work, Brooks explains that it was his choice to leave Dallas.
I asked to be traded. I went in and asked the coaching staff to get rid of me. And I was fortunate enough to have the Broncos want me because I wanted to come to the Broncos. You know, it was a big step in my life, and I took it. I'm happy I took it. I have no regrets. I think Denver's going to be a great city for me, and hopefully I'd be, you know, great for the city of Denver.
Meanwhile, the man who has caused such a stir ever since the Broncos signed him decides to get a few things off his chest today. Place kicker Raphael Septien's story has been well documented. Charged with sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl, Septien pleads guilty to a lesser charge in a plea bargain. He's been out of the league for 2 years and wants to make his comeback here in Denver. But the protests to his signing here have been loud and long. Today, Septien says he wants to be judged on his kicking and is grateful to the Broncos for his second opportunity.
They believe in me, and they know that I'm not what they accused me of, and it was just a situation that was put in, and that was an unfortunate situation because it's a very delicate matter.
You regret pleading guilty? I mean, is that something that...
Well, that's what my attorneys told me, advised me to do, because after that, then you have no record at all, and it's against their word, against my word.
And how do you like this one? Former 49ers head coach Bill Walsh